Yes. Mhm. You know, I downloaded the screen print from the email that I've been sending. Yes. Now, in addition to any other powers vested by law, yes. What powers are vested by law, yes, for all of those that are in law enforcement? Now, if I went through every power, yes, in addition to the other powers vested by law, yes, a general authority Washington peace officer who possesses a certificate of basic law enforcement training, yes, or a certificate of equivalency or has been exempted from the requirement therefore by the Washington State Criminal Justice Training Commission. Yes. Now the Training Commission is the only one that can exempt you from this. Right. May enforce the traffic or criminal laws of this state. Yes. Throughout the territorial bounds of this state under the following enumerated circumstances. Yes. Now, you have powers vested because of the laws of the state of Washington. Then there's the territorial bounds of the state of Washington. Yes. Now, upon the written consent of the sheriff or chief of police, whose primary territorial jurisdiction the exercise of the powers occurs. Yes. So the exercise of the powers, yes, is the vested powers by the law enforcement. Now, um, upon written consent of sheriff, yes, or chief of police in whose primary territorial jurisdiction, yeah, the exercise of the powers occurs. Yes. Now, the powers, in addition to any powers vested by law, what power do you have as law enforcement? Yes. Where the jurisdiction, territorial jurisdiction, yes, happens to be the location where there is the crime that has to be investigated and an arrest needs to take place for. Yes. Now, in response to an emergency involving an immediate threat to life or property. Yes. Now, you would say this isn't an emergency. So, in response to a request for assistance, yes, pursuant to a mutual law enforcement assistance agreement with the agency of primary territorial jurisdiction, or in response to the request of a peace officer, yes, with enforcement authority. Now, when the officer is transporting a prisoner, yes, when the officer is executing an arrest warrant or search warrant, or when the officer is in fresh pursuit as defined in RCW 10.93.120. Now, the issue seems to be this powers that are vested in you, yes, or the general authority peace officers' powers of and circumstances, yes. Now, just looking at it, this powers that we're talking about happens to be in if the local government supersedes the authority it is given, the state has the power to modify or revoke its powers. Now, you'll notice in the actual definition of local government superseding the authority it is given, yes, the state of Washington has the power to modify or revoke the powers of the vested policing power, yes, and the powers, yes, of the Police Powers Act, yes. Now, ultimately, under the Dillon Rule, local governments, county governments, and city governments are tenants of the state. Yes. Now, let's say the state has refused to modify or revoke, yes, vested powers. Yes, yes. And they said, well, we just can't. We have to misprison all of these felonies. When the state ultimately, yes, doesn't modify or revoke the powers, yes, of the tenants of the state known as county, city, yes, and in many instances tribal governments, pooh. See, there's this idea of the founding fathers and what they intended when they wrote the Constitution. The vested powers need to be modified or revoked by the state because the county and city does not believe that they can only have vested powers, right, when they enforce the power that the state gives them. Now, I'm just sitting here, okay? So you get me every state legislature right now, right now.